Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all y'all. I'm throwing the Baer Cave, the Lego, the site, the emote into chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with said emotes. If you're not a subscriber, you can just say hi. If you are a subscriber but you don't want to use my emotes and you just want to say whatever, you can do that too. If you literally just want to type the words whatever. Lashbrook is here. Hi, Lashbrook. Welcome everybody. We are in the intro portion of the stream. You know by now what that means. It means that we started with the pre-show stuff, with just me running the stream, playing some music using Soundtrack by Twitch. Then jump over here, and I'm just chatting with y'all now in the intro. We see if a few more folks want to join us. After a few minutes of this, we get into the building. That's how this works. I am checking out, as I said, I'm using Soundtrack by Twitch, not Twitch Soundtrack, Soundtrack by Twitch, which I think it's clunky. Soundtrack by Twitch is clunky, but whatever. I'm using the dance station right now, and I think that's good. I'm liking songs I'm trying to do that thing. You know that thing because so basically, if you haven't seen it, I wonder if I can just do. Do I want to? I don't want to do that. Okay. So think of it. It's Spotify. It's actually a bit more like Pandora. If you remember Pandora, where so that you can't just like Spotify. I can't just type in a song and search for that song and play it, but I can go in for a genre or a station. And I can like songs, and it will try to give me algorithmically pick songs from this library that I think I will like. Now, there are also playlists. Some of those playlists are done by creators, Twitch streamers, who are musically inclined, I guess, or perhaps musicians. I don't know the full facts. But also, they're kind of going for like, oh, here's this thing, here's this thing. If you want heat map, which is like rappers. If you want like beats to stream to, which is like lo-fi hip hop beats. And instrumentals, like you can just click a playlist and it'll just play, or you can go into the station. And I've been playing stuff out of the dance station. There is a dance and electronic, and those are different. But I've been picking the dance stuff because the dance stuff is kind of like high energy without being like Crossfire is their like heavy metal kind of thing, and that's just too much. But I don't want like just chillin'. I don't want to just chill. I want to get you all, or like transcendental stuff. Like I don't want you to get that to be the vibe before the stream starts, but I also don't want like screaming before the stream starts. So I'm trying to find it. But I'll tell you what, not having to think about if the music I'm playing right now is going to make my VODs muted is very nice. It is so nice. And eventually, the part of the thing is, if you're using this service, they won't even show up. So the first couple of minutes of my VOD in the future won't even have this music. Right now, it will. So that even protects it. So it apparently will be able to edit that out automatically, which is cool technology, to borrow a phrase. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. I'm full of pasta. I made some ziti tonight. Ziti and an Italian sausage, which I diced up, threw in the sauce. Very, very good. A slice of light rye bread, the end, you know, the crust end of the loaf of bread. Toasted that up with a little butter for the, sauce. Ooh, excellent. My folks went to a friend's house who were inside of our bubble to hang out and chat, and I decided not to go. So instead made dinner for myself, which I don't do much these days. I either cook for the family or one of the other family members cooks for all of us, including me. So it is kind of unusual for me to just prepare a meal for just me. But it was nice. Like I said, nothing fancy. Didn't go hog wild with it, but I had a good time doing it. But yeah, I'm a little stuffed. I had planned on being full of pasta by now, but I played too much Genshin Impact, and then Blazeball started popping off. We killed God. Yeah, Lashbrook, I saw the official Blazeball, one of the official Blazeball's accounts, say, "All right, let's kill God," and I will say this, Flashbrook. Immediately before that, I saw involved somehow, have not talked to Felix Kramer about their involvement in Blazeball. I believe they are just tangentially involved, like with helping, or at least know the people. But I just saw an ominous tweet from Felix just being Lego Butts on Twitter. If you're not following Felix, Lego Butts is a fantastic follow, especially if you like cute kitties. Anyway, Felix was just like, here we go. And I was like, what does that mean? And then I was like, oh, it's Blazeball related. So, Lashbrook, I hope you get full of pasta at some point. I hope, actually, you know what? Not just Flashbrook. I hope all of you get full of pasta soon, especially if that's something that you want. If it's not what you want, then don't. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the next time Austin Walker is on is running the podcast, so I can get an update on the old Waypoint Radio, because I'm sure that he is paying attention and he's doing the work I don't have to do, which sounds great to me. Anyway, I'm going to retweet the tweet. Let's get ready to build. It's important to send those tweets out and keep that going there. Keep the momentum going. Have some fun out there. I hope you're all having a Saturday. I hope your Saturday is a Saturday. You know, we have to be pragmatic and realistic these days, folks. The fact that you had a Saturday is enough. It shouldn't be the bare minimum, but it is. But I hope you all had a Saturday. And, you know, perhaps one of y'all is watching from another part of the world that's outside where I am at, and it's Sunday for you, in which case, hell yeah, enjoy that Sunday. So, if you missed the Thursday stream, we started working on this kit. This is the Gun EZ. It is a mobile suit from Gundam Victory, and it is the mass-produced suit from that show. This is the 1/100 scale. It will be a tiny kit because Victory Gundam had small kits like F91. They started making them small. So this will still be a small kit even though it's a 1/100 scale. It is the RE100 line. If you're not familiar with the RE100 line, I'll tell you that they are somewhere between a master grade and a high grade. The 1/100 scale, it's for kits that just aren't going to get a master grade, but they wanted to show it some love, so they did one with this. So you're going to have a lot of your plastic connectors, your rubber connectors, I should say, that you're going to have in your rubberized plastic here, that you're going to have in a high grade. So lots of those connectors, and it's in the 1/100 scale, but it's definitely more detailed than a normal high grade. Also, I should point out a very cool feature about this is that it has weapon boxes here, shoulder weapon boxes. These slide off, and you can replace them. So you could do one or two. And if you had multiple of these kits, you could mix and match them. That one has little missiles that can be fired. The other is storage for the beam weapon. And we'll get to that at the end of the stream. But this is the glory days. Look, I don't know a lot about F91 Victory. This era is not my era of Gundam. It's not so old and like a classic. But it's not like another step in the evolution of Gundam. It's just kind of like a dead spot for me. But it does have one thing in this era that I really love, which is beam shields. It has beam shields, and it also beam fans. Look at that. Look at these things. It's just, this is beautiful. You can even see it through the back. This is gorgeous. And I love this. It's like, well, you can have a beam saber or a beam fan. I really dig that. I think this area has a lot of cool stuff. Also, you'll see it that we'll be building the shoulder. This is this is the arm mounted. You can see in the photo there-ish. There. Yeah, you can see in the photo on the arm that is the place where the shoulder or the arm-mounted shield goes. Yeah, so it's kind of got a holographic effect. It's basically supposed to be like electricity, I believe, coming out of it. So it's got that kind of like, it's meant to give you a living feel that this is not a solid beam, which, to be fair, why would it be? But more that there's like movement in this, or there's like pulsing happening here. So it's a very cool looking shield. And I'm excited to put that together. But right now we're working on arms, and we're going to start with the arms because most of the arms are identical. It just comes down to what is one arm has, one attachment, the other one doesn't. So we will start by doing the parts that are similar, which is the shoulder parts are very similar. So we'll start with that and move on. I wanted to tell you because it's good to promote this. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew that I got a flu shot yesterday, and I would encourage you, if you can, can do it safely, if you are in an area where you feel comfortable going to a CVS or a Walgreens or a place where you can get it. If you can't, get the flu shot. I think this year is an important step if you're able to, if you're able to do it. If you have insurance, hell yeah. If you don't have insurance, I believe the flu shot right now is $40 and change, which is not nothing. Now, one thing I want to point out to y'all that is in my case, my flu shot cost $20. It cost $19.99. I got a penny back because I went to Costco. That's right. Now, I am not a member of Costco, but my parents are, so I went in with my folks, and my mom got her glasses, which she gets at Costco, adjusted, and I went to the pharmacy area and filled out a form, and didn't have, paid in cash, went in, they did the scan thing of my forehead to check my temperature. I was a little low, which is not a problem, but was weird. Then I got a shot. And I will say this: I'm not a fan of needles. In fact, I'm very much not a fan of needles. But not a problem. And the only thing that hurt about getting the flu shot is when I had to take the Band-Aid off of my kind of hairy arm, because I got it over here and had to take that Band-Aid off, and that was unpleasant. But other than that part, it was great. So I would say, hey, if you can, get a flu shot. If your area is low on the flu shot, certainly we want to prioritize other folks, folks that are more at risk than you might be. But if you can, especially if you are with folks that are older, and or if you're with folks that can't get the flu shot, get it for them. You know what I mean? It just feels like an important thing to do if you're able to, if you can safely get into it. Now, going to Costco, lots of people. Was there a person wearing the mask with their nose fully exposed? Yes. Now, I could maybe argue because they were like in the glasses section, so maybe they were like, it had fallen, but I don't think so. I think this is just a person that doesn't wear a mask properly. And I didn't make a stink about it. I just kept my distance, even more than normal. 'Cause you gotta. But anyway, that was a small thing, but I feel like, I'll mention it. Maybe y'all are thinking about doing it, or you hadn't even considered that it would be a good time to get that done. But I think you can help some people out here by getting yourself a flu shot if you are able to do so. All right, so we gotta assemble. We're doing the shoulder units here, so we'll do that. But yeah, it was also good because I was able to swipe at some Pokestops while I was there, so that was nice, and catch a few Pokemon, which I needed to do. So that was good. I mean, oops, did I put this on wrong? I did. I assembled this wrong. I noticed it right away, at least, and I was able to fix that. Yep, put that on backwards. I was like, this doesn't look right, and in fact, it was not right. Nice. Not even have to use tools. That's great. I'll talk about this again. I'll plug it probably a couple times here. The old stream stuff. Hey, Monday stream. I don't expect to finish this kit tonight, but we won't start it on Monday. If we need to do more, and we'll go back to it. We certainly can. But Monday, the beginning of Monday stream, it's pumpkin time, y'all. It's the 3rd annual pumpkin carving stream. That's right. 2 years ago, I started the idea of like, oh, I'll get some pumpkins. I waited till almost Halloween and could not get any good pumpkins in my area that were going to be good carvers. So I got tiny little pumpkins. I did 2 tiny pumpkins. Then last year I planned it earlier and managed to get a very nice pumpkin. And this year went out, got a pumpkin yesterday. So that's ready to go. Did I fuck this up the exact same way? I did. I put this on the exact same problem way that I did on the last one. But I noticed it again right away. So anyway, yeah, I got a pumpkin. That's Monday. We're going to start with the pumpkin. If it does not take the 2 hours to complete, we will. I'll just go and continue working on this kit, and I think that's fine. But the focus on Monday's stream is going to be carving a pumpkin. I will take some comments from the chat, certainly, as I go. I have somewhat of an idea of what I'd like to do with said pumpkins, but I'm certainly willing to take feedback as it goes, because y'all are going to be watching me do it. So if you have ideas about things I'm doing that you're like, oh, you should do this thing, or oh, well, you should make that, or like, hey, this thing should have a nose, right? Like, feel free, while we go, and talk about your own pumpkin experiences. I don't have all the tools that I would normally have, but I will be able to make do with what I do have. I think the only problem I'm looking into right now is I didn't bring a lot of X-Acto knife blades with me, and this one is a little dull. So I'm a little afraid. So I'm going to be etching with that. But then the actual cuts, I will probably, for like the eyes and the mouth and the nose, I will probably do with a different tool. And so I think it'll work out all right. I got a few things. Right now I'm looking for a bigger spoon, but not too big a spoon. I might just borrow, my folks have an ice cream scoop, but it's not like a cup scoop. It's like a wide scoop. It's meant to be run under hot water. You can take the cap out and pour hot water in it, and so it'll like warm it up a little bit, which I won't obviously do because I'm not scooping ice cream. But I was like, this might actually work pretty good for a good-sized pumpkin. But yeah, if y'all got any pumpkin carving tips, feel free to drop them in the chat, because that sounds like something that would be helpful to me. Or if you got horror stories. Pumpkin ice cream sounds so good now. Well, Julie Cooley, that was yeah, I mean, that also does sound pretty good. I'll say this. Pumpkin bread is kind of the only pumpkin thing that I like. Like, I'm not big pumpkin pie. I'm just, yeah, pumpkin ice cream, I'm not super into it. But pumpkin bread I do like. So I don't know. I know that is somewhat of an unpopular opinion. There are plenty of pumpkin fiends out there. But yeah, it's just never been a treat that I have, or a flavor that I've been super into. Never reached for the pumpkin. But, because yeah, people have said like, oh, do you bake the seeds after you carve your pumpkin? And it's just like, no, I throw those seeds and all the guts away. I don't need pumpkin seeds. Now, I should say, since I am currently living with my folks, I will ask tomorrow or Monday, hey, do you want me to save the seeds? Julie loves the seeds, and that rules for you. So I will ask, because it had not occurred to me until this conversation at this very moment as I'm streaming with y'all that I should inquire if they want me to keep the seeds, because I don't think they want them, but I certainly don't want to throw them away and then find out later, all right, and where are the seeds? And I have to be like, let me go get them. Ugh. So I will investigate after our brief conversation here on the matter. Yeah, because, some people like roasting. People love roasting those seeds, but it is not a thing that I do in my life because I'm not interested. But yeah, I don't want to, I don't want to take away the joy. And this will be a full carved pumpkin. Got to put a goofy face on it. I make fun pumpkins, is what I like to say. These pumpkins usually have a goofy face on them. This pumpkin, I'll tell you right now, will not be scary unless you think that poorly carved pumpkins are terrifying, in which case I apologize for spookifying everybody. But the goal is to make a pumpkin that you just go, oh, look at that pumpkin. Not, dang, look at that pumpkin. Like, I'm not here to win awards. I'm here to make something silly and fun and have a good time, and also do something festive, and also do something a little different from my usual streams. I am trying to, to mix things up here and there. We got a lot of great model kits to build on these streams, and I am always thrilled to work on them. I will say this. I did purchase, and it will arrive in a couple days. I bought the Sony PlayStation model kit that we talked about on Thursday. That was available, and the price was right, and I went for it. The Sega Saturn is still in my playlist, and I will certainly build that if someone purchases it off my wish list. But I had some money on my Amazon card, and I was like, "Yep, this is the purchase I'm going to make. This is the thing that I want to build in the future." I mean, I've got a lot of good stuff waiting to build, and I've got a bunch of things. I've got two things. I should say a bunch. I've got two things coming. One of which is the Cup Noodle set, which is the third in the line of 5. I don't know what the other two are going to be, but the first one is PlayStation. The second one is the Saturn, which feels like a weird choice, doesn't it? Like, I know this is Japan, working with Hit, whatever it's, a Hit Collective, whatever it's called, Hit Chronicle. Hit Chronicle is the name of this, like, limited run. But it's like looking at famous Japanese brands, and so Sega, for whatever reason, picked the Saturn, which I know did all right in Japan, but you'd think it'd be the Dreamcast. Whatever, I'm not complaining. I'm excited about building a Saturn. That's a silly choice that I'm always excited, excited to make that. But the PlayStation, that's fun. It's not the PS1, it's the original PlayStation. And I think that's the right choice as well. But that's coming. That should be an odd build. I'm looking forward to working on that. Because I think that's just going to be a silly choice. And I'm always into building something, just something a little different, right? The same thing with the Cup Noodle. It's just like, that's an odd thing that exists, and I'm going to be able to assemble that. And that's great and weird. And I want to do that. I want to build the weird stuff if I can build the weird stuff. If it's weird, I probably want to build it. All right, so we put these aside here, and then we can build the only other things we have to duplicate, which is other parts of the arm. We do have stickers to apply, so we will start with stickers and then apply and then build the rest. We'll start with the stickers. These sticker applications should be a lot easier. We've already done a couple, but we didn't have to do too many. Then we were working on that real grade. That real grade, a Tall Geese, had some tiny stickers because it was a small thing. So this should be a lot simpler to put together. I think that, obviously, I'm looking at it now. I'm thinking the photo that I picked, because I always like to pick a photo to go over there. I think the photo I picked ended up being a render of what the kit is supposed to look like instead of a good photo of it, because the mint I'm getting there doesn't really line up too much with the forest, like the light forest green that we've got on this. Like, this just doesn't quite appeal, doesn't quite line up. It's similar, but not quite the same. But this is definitely more of a forest. I think it's good. I like it. And I do think it's a good color, but not quite right. I don't know. Let me know. Hey, because I know, first off, I should say, somebody renewed their subscription. If you want to hit that notification, please do so that we can say thank you. Because I just saw that it went up sometime during the stream. If you don't want to hit that notification, or it didn't show up, and you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. If you do want to talk about it, that's great. You're obviously under no obligation, but it's always nice to give a shout out to people that decide to renew their subscription. It means a lot to me. So you don't have to, but feel free. But let me know in chat, y'all. What are, if anything, are y'all doing anything for the holiday? Are you decorating? Now, obviously, are you gonna leave a basket? I don't think that sounds good. Are you gonna put out a sign? You know, you're gonna turn the lights off. Are you in a neighborhood where people are out and about, like there's not a fucking problem? Are you in a part of the world where it isn't that big a deal right now, which would be heavenly? I am, the night before Halloween, I am going to be going to a virtual Halloween party with some friends. We are going to hang out in a Zoom call, and then I am going to and then we're going to watch a some sort of Halloween thing that's streaming on Amazon. We're going to do the Amazon viewing party, like that, and then go back into the Zoom. And I'm trying to figure out things I can do to decorate using the virtual camera in OBS. So I want to like make something here in OBS so that I can switch to different things, because we're going to do the Zoom hangout. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, how best to do that. I don't have things for a costume really right now. I mean, I guess I could like raid my dad's closet and maybe find something. So I might like try to make a costume up for that party. And then also on Halloween, I'm just going to stream. I mean, Halloween is a Saturday. Right? Yeah, it's a Saturday. It's in 2 weeks from tonight. I'm just going to stream on Halloween. I don't have anything planned spooky. If I make anything fun in OBS, I'll use that. But I think I'm just going to be like, oh, it's so spooky, I'm building the RX-78 Clear, and just kind of like pretend like that's a spooky thing. That doesn't sound great, but yeah, I mean, like, I'm not going to not stream just because it's Halloween, especially, now maybe previous years, Halloween on a Saturday, I might choose not to, but especially in 2020, the year of our loss, 2020, I'm not gonna, take the night off just because it's Halloween. Yeah, because forget that. I'll have like photos of my pumpkin carving and whatever. Hang out with y'all and do that. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do anything. Like, I'm not gonna pull. I don't know. Like, I don't have anything scary to build. Maybe I'll figure out something particular, but I don't think I'm gonna find anything spooky to do. Okay, so we want to do the, let me just tell you, having the words "the smaller hole" here, that's what she said, but having the words there is very helpful for this. Just being like, oh, that's how you want me to do it. I'm not going to find out later. Yes, Culinary Disaster, I will be doing a pumpkin carving stream on Monday. So this coming Monday, because I have the pumpkin and I want to carve it and then I want to put it out on the front step here of the house. So, and I'll of course take photos when I put it out. But yeah, that's this Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern. I should send out a thing to subscribers. Of course, I'll be tweeting about it, but I should send out a thing to subscribers, Twitch subs, because I don't do that often. I try not to send subs messages too often, but I should here or there do that when it's something like that. When it's like, oh, hey, this is something a little different. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. This is my third annual pumpkin carving stream. As I said, the first year, it was kind of like a last minute, like, oh, yeah, I should probably do that, huh? And I hadn't really put enough thought into it. But it was fun to do. That first year, it was a very small pumpkin, 2 small pumpkins, because my local area was out of pumpkins that were either had incredibly huge, which I was like, I'm not interested in that, or they had pumpkins that were like really like there was no good side to it. We were having a small party with our family bubble. Probably won't put out candy. The city discouraged trick-or-treating. Good. Aristophan, first off, hi Aristophan, happy to have you here as always, my friend. But second of all, yeah, that sounds right. That sounds like the right thing to do is to be like, so there's a thing kind of near here. There's a big kind of like boardwalk with lots of shops, and it's on the water, and there's some lights, and you can kind of like, so you can park at any place, but you can go out the back entrance of any of these buildings and walk along this kind of like river walk thing, but it's like lake stuff, or sorry, ocean stuff. It's the marsh walk. Anyway, they're not doing Halloween activities, and for South Carolina, that's rad as hell, because originally they were like, we think we can do it, and then they're like, ooh, we had 600 cases today, we're not going to do it. It's like, thank you, that's awesome. All right, so we got to do B15. The long part is on that side. So let's find a B15 and figure out what the long part means. We'll put it there. But yeah, I think that's the way to go. You know, yeah, you get your family, the people you're already seeing, the people you know you're like that hopefully are doing the work. You just have to hope they are indeed doing the work. Okay, so that's that part. Also, I can bend. That makes some sense. Get it to there. Then that goes. That snaps into place. Ooh, that does snap into place. Ooh. Ooh, I like that. That's good. It's got a good turn. This has got some nice mobility to it. But yeah, I hope everyone can be safe for this Halloween. I know, obviously, look, hey, this ain't the fun. It's not the, it's not what we want. It's not what we prefer, but yeah, I know that my folks, this neighborhood doesn't really get trick-or-treaters anyway, so it's like fine. But I was still like, yeah, I'm sure there will be somebody. There'll be some people, because people don't take shit seriously all the time. You want them to, but they don't all do it, and it's a big old bummer. Like I said this at the beginning of the stream. We had some folks who weren't here for the beginning of the stream. I got my flu shot yesterday. I would say, if you can, go get it. As I said, I did go to Costco, so I was able to get it for a reduced price, which was very nice. It didn't take too long. I didn't have to have an appointment or anything. Just had to fill out some stuff. Took my temperature, gave me the A-OK on that, and then boom, got myself a flu shot. And now, yeah. And also wasn't one of those people that gets a flu shot and has a flu-like symptoms. So that was nice. That was good. I have not even looked at, speaking of fun streams, we're talking about fun streams a little before, this coming Wednesday, I will be playing Jackbox Party Pack 7 with folks. I have not checked it out yet. I cannot tell you. I know that Quiplash 3, they kind of fixed the end of Quiplash, which I appreciate. Sounds good. They made some changes that I think sound pretty cool, but I have not fully investigated in that. All right, now let's do the left arm. But I have heard good things about that, so looking forward to seeing how that works out. And then, oh, you played some Jackbox today. It was good. Yeah. And then I've seen the art one, because I've seen some art streamers, some funnies people, the folks at Drawfee played that a while back, and I think there might even been a revision of the game since then. And that one looked cool. That's the, like, it's not TKO, but it is the competitive drawing things. But it feels like you're going to do a lot of drawing, and I think that's one of those games where, like, the first time you play it, you're like, wait, what do we do now? And then it's like, oh, okay, and then you'll get it on the second playthrough. So that might be one where, like, really just got to explain what the deal is with it. But I am excited about trying them out, trying out all the games. But we'll do that on Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to doing that, because that'll be fun for my bonus stream. Somebody sent me a message on Twitter and was like, hey, I only see streams on occasion. I thought you were a model kit builder. The last 2 times I've seen you, you've been doing something else. And I was like, were the last time, 2 times you saw me on a Wednesday? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I play different things on Wednesday. They're like, oh. It's like, yes. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. I was just like, I played Pokemon and then like some card game. And I was like, yes. I do that. Yeah, if you only tune into my streams on Wednesday, you will only see the other stuff, which is fine. I mean, if that's the day you could watch, like I'm not, whatever. But also somebody said that my streams, catching up my streams with their lunch break today after a bad day, and that made me happy. Not that they had a bad day, obviously, that didn't make you happy, but that I was able to be a nice part of their day. That's always great to hear. Always lovely to hear that. All right, so this is basically the same to the other arm that we already built here, except we also have to build the shield house, the thing that locks into place that the beam shield will go into. So we got to build that as well. We first got to do. All right, so let's do E119. The other E1. E119, great. Yeah, so we got to build the hand, and then we got to build the shield parts. So we'll need some. They're all D pieces, great. Some D there. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so let's get the hand. Only one set of hands for this kit, which makes sense. That's pretty much in line with the RE100s. Like, the whole idea of the RE100 is, here's a kit we won't make a master grade of, but we will make it in 1/100 scale, and we don't make high grades anymore in the 1/100 scale. So if you want this kit, this is your best option, and so great. And sometimes they're a little bit of a mess, but most of the time these are very cool kits, and I'm happy to put them together. But also, I like to do stuff that just looks neat and is interesting. And so, yeah, I'm always on board for something a little different. These kits are a little different. And there. And put it out there. Hey, is anybody building anything these days? Anybody working on anything? I haven't asked that in a while. If you've got anything, if you started, and this doesn't have to be, I'm building, yeah, man, I'm working on the Justice Gundam. Like, if you are doing a model kit of something else, if you're working on a ship from, for One Piece, or you're building a papercraft thing, of Mononoke, if you are doing painting miniatures. We went and raided Cam, who I thought was painting Warhammer miniatures. Instead, he was looking at a book of getting into new Warhammer stuff. He was like doing the math and like finding out. So we watched him like decide what he was going to buy, which I'll say this. That's one of the weirdest things we've ever rated, but it was cool. It was interesting. It's not a thing I know anything about. I've done no Warhammer in my life, so to have him like talking about these things, I was like, this is weird but very cool. Anyway, yeah, if you're doing anything like that, if you're doing woodworking, you're working on a project, you're putting together something like that. If you put together a new chair, you got yourself a gaming chair, and you had to assemble that. Like, I love hearing that stuff, so feel free to let me know if you're working on anything. As always, Saturday, like sometimes I just run out of stuff to talk about throughout the week, and we are definitely in that mode today. Of course, in the second hour, which is coming up, I will chat about some anime that I watched the past 2 days. And it's always good to be able to chat about that stuff because it's stuff I enjoy. But yeah, if there's anything going on with y'all that you want to, if you're working on anything, if you're working on puzzles, doing any puzzles, getting into stuff in your backlog, doing some, I don't know, whatever. Get a new recipe, let me know in the chat, folks. Feel free. If you're baking, you're like, I tried, I don't know, like, I cooked a great stew the other day. Like, I don't know, let me know. I like hearing that stuff. Love hearing that stuff from y'all and what you're up to. Like I said, I cooked for myself tonight. Just did some ziti rigatoni, which is good shells, or pasta, I should say. just did that. Simple, easy. Cooked up a sausage. Cooked up a sausage in the afternoon, then cut it up, threw it in the sauce. Ooh, that was good. That was so good. But yeah, I don't get a chance to just cook for myself these days because I'm staying with folks. So we do a lot of cooking all together. Christian, it was good. It was very tasty. Also, hi. ZD for National Pasta Day. Nice, yeah. Did not know today was National Pasta Day, but awesome. That's great to see. But that was just an easy thing for me to cook up myself when my folks went to go hang out with friends. In the bubble. They hung out outside. I guess it was nice. I'm building some Lego, a Mickey and Minnie Mouse. A few weeks ago, this is Aristophan saying, I built a new IKEA table for my puzzles. I enjoy puzzles and Lego much more than IKEA. Yeah, so here's the thing about IKEA. If you're a Lego person, IKEA isn't great because it's not like you're assembling a puzzle or putting together a set. IKEA is just like tacking together furniture. It's just like there's no craft to it. It's not, it is a means to an end. All right, these are actually being annoying to put together, so I'm going to focus a little bit on trying to get this together there. Yes, serendipitous. Yes, I would say it is serendipitous that I did that on National Pasta Day. Had some pasta. It was just an easy thing for me to cook myself because I didn't feel like getting the grill ready to just grill for one person since I've been able to grill for many. But yeah, all right. So these arms maybe are a little loose when the arm meets the shoulder there. It might be a little loose, but I don't know. It went through, so that looks all right. But yeah, IKEA is always just the thing where it's like I've had the pleasure, quote unquote, to destroy a couple IKEA couches. Now, when I say destroy, I mean modify for a performance. Speaking of Halloween stuff, this was a horror comedy show called Kilgore, and we had to gut a couch so that someone could fall like into it, and then we could have like all this blood shoot out of it and all that. So I would have to cut out the back of an IKEA couch, and then like dig my way through and like bore my way through it to run a bunch of hoses, and then also have a compartment to be removed. And it never got easier. I did that like a couple of years in a row, where it'd just be like, well, this is the Kilgore couch, and then we throw it away, and then we get a new couch for the green room, and we had a few IKEA couches. And it was a pain in the ass to modify because you're just cutting through layers and layers of glued particle board. There's so few screws in an IKEA couch. You know how, if you ever had this kind of cheap IKEA couch where if you ever sat on the armrests and it broke, that's just because there's just particle board in there. Layers and layers of particle board. It's not meant to take any weight. And so that's why they just kind of break and crumble, is because there's no supports in the shoulder compartments. So you can't sit on those, on the armrest. I said on shoulders, armrest. Spend a good amount of today trying to get that Power Mac G4 working again. Oh, last week, that's your project. That's right. It's been a real arduous task trying to get it to recognize any sort of install media. It's a bummer, Lastbrook. I'm sorry. Well, good luck with it. Yeah, that feels like a real Saturday project, like a real, well, today's Saturday. Time to work on that G4. Good luck to you. All right, so we're working on the waist right now. We've done with the upper body here. It's time to move down to the waist. But yeah, I got to do a lot of cool shit when I worked on Kilgore because I was in charge of rigging and special effects. We had a air compressor hooked up to a bunch of different PVC pipes, like tubing, that we would store with fake blood that I would make. And so we did a lot of air compression stuff. Like, we put this head sticks up behind the couch, and then you hit the head, and then, a hose is revealed, and you can't really see the hose, but you can see there. And then um, we would have the blood squirt out of it, or someone would get shot with a needle, and then it would be a very big needle, and then we would have an air compressor. The air compressor would be rigged up to a finger, like just one latex finger that we would tape to the end of one of the hoses, and then the finger would blow up like the heart was blowing up and actually expand behind the shirt. And then eventually somewhere it would rupture, either where it was taped or just the thing. And then all of this fake blood would just like cover this white shirt from the inside. It was, it was a small theater production. We got a lot of really good effects. I got very good at figuring that stuff out. My big thing was trying to salvage gags and rigs that I didn't think were good. Like, we had a guy who would like come out with a guitar, right? And he would come out and he could play, but because he was a guitarist, and originally he would be choked with one of the strings, and then he would just have two like bags of blood in his hands, and he would just pop them, and hopefully they squirted out this way, but sometimes they would squirt up at his face, or they wouldn't pop, and he'd have to do it again, and it just never looked good. So what I ended up doing was he came out with, and his guitar was plugged into an amp backstage, which is just whatever, and he would play, and you could hear it, and it was like, oh, that's a real guitar. Then he would go off stage, and when he came back, the cord had been replaced with a small piece of tubing that we put a plug on, so it looked real, and taped it, but it had a hole cut in the side. And so then he would get choked with that, and it was as if he was being choked with the audio, the 1/4-inch audio cable, and then blood would shoot out of the hose there when he was being choked, and it looked so much better because it was the spray we were doing with it matched all the other effects. The other one I would do is there was a clown that played, and he had a horn, a really annoying horn. And the idea was he would pop the horn open and then stick it. Someone would stick it in his head and then do this, and then blood would shoot out, as if it was his brain blood or whatever. And so we had the real horn, and then we had a fake one, and then he would hold the fake one up to his ear, would slide a hand, and then it would shoot out. Most of our effects involved that, although there was somebody that we had a different tube set up that we had to pressurize that was full of puke, quote unquote, because somebody would just vomit and then spray into the audience, which was a good effect. I would use like guargum thickening agent, and then just lots of different food coloring to make that, because it had to look very different than the blood, and it was chunky in some spots. I would also use a lot of the old blood from previous shows in that run. It was also like the only thing that I ever did that like we would do like a bunch of performances in a row. It felt like a real play for a college or for a comedy theater that didn't really do repeat performances. It was kind of neat to do that. It was a lot. It was very fun, but a lot of work. And I did it for a number of years, and then I didn't want to do it anymore. So what I ended up doing was one year I was supposed to be doing it. And I got a trip to LA that happened it was for 14 days, and it was leading up to the production. So I was like, well, I can't work on the production because I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. So I was able to not do it, go to LA, have a great time in LA, and then come back and watch the show, and then go and fix a problem, because they amped everything up from my productions. Because they're like, hey, Pat, we were just wondering, how come you never use 2 air compressors? You could have gotten so much more air, and you could have had so many more things. And I was like, well, the place we keep the air compressors, there are only so many outlets back there, and if you ran 2 air compressors on the same circuit, you just blow a fuse. And they were like, oh no, because they hadn't tested this. They hadn't run it full capacity until the first show, because I went opening night. And I was just like, you gotta meet like immediately. I was just like, you gotta. We end up just like getting any extension cords we could find and running cords from one of the air compressors to like another outlet and like making those people move that were using it somewhere else, because it was just like, no, you're gonna blow a fuse in this building if you run 2 air compressors at the same time. Thank you. Note, Makoti, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that. Folks, always a reminder, if you're not following me, if you just come here because you see a link on Twitter or something, always, hopefully, give me a follow there and turn your notifications on so you know when I'm going live. But yeah, that show was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot about how to put together PVC pipe and putty and a lot of stuff like that. How to spend a lot of money that wasn't mine at Home Depot to make gags work. Unfortunately, I never properly learned how to make breakaway glass or sugar glass, as they call it. It's hard making those. I just could never get the. You just end up cracking a bunch of them. I could never get it just right. So we end up what happened would be that we only would do like 6 bottles per show, and we just have to spend a lot of money and buy them and get them shipped, because it's still cheaper to do that than go to like a costume place in New York. It's Ricky's, and buy a breakaway bottle, or Abracadabra, the magic store, which is a great name for a magic store. It's a fantastic name for a magic store, Abracadabra. But you'd have to go there and get breakaway bottles, and they're incredibly expensive. So eventually we just cut back how many bottles we used in one of the scenes and changed the death, because it was like, this is just so expensive. Because we were like, well, let's make our own. You make fake blood. You could figure this out. And I was like, I tried. And the answer was, no, I cannot figure this out. Do not have the ability to make molds. Molds that could stand the heat necessary to have the liquid for it and pour it in and have it be set and then actually work. I was not, that is beyond me. I'm sure other folks that's no problem at all, but for me that was I wish I had stuff documented. I have a few photos of some of the rigs we made, but I don't have a lot of documentation of that work. It's all up in here in my brain. I would have detailed notes and try to explain it as best I could. But yeah, some of that stuff was real fun. You get yourself a coconut, you shatter it, then you dip that coconut in blood, and boom, you got yourself a piece of skull that came off, with hair on it because of the coconut. But you dip it in the fake blood, because it really makes it just seem like, oh yeah, that is a piece of skull that someone chipped away. There's a good tip for you. I'll give you some tips if you have to do some monster work. You gotta do some horror stuff. You're gonna work in a haunted house, a virtual haunted house or whatever. That was a good easy tip. Trying to think about what other tips of the trade I can share with y'all. Fake blood. There's 2 types of fake blood. There is performance fake blood, and there is photography fake blood, and you should be very clear about what you want to make. Photography or fake blood for that kind of stuff, that should be a dark red. It should be viscous. It should be clingy. You do want to use cornstarch in that. It should be, because you want it to splatter, and then you want it to stay on the material. Now, if you're doing for an effect, if you're making a show, if you're doing a live production, you want it to be liquid, because you want it to go everywhere, and you want it to run. You want it to, like, oh, that was a white wall, and then blood splattered on it, and then it's slowly coming down it. So you want it to be like almost a cherry red instead of a deep red, because you want it to be visible on walls, and it will also be on faces. Don't use chocolate. You got to use corn syrup. The thing with chocolate is great if you are making blood, fake blood for, like I keep saying fake, you're making fake blood for photography, then chocolate is great. Chocolate also does not come out of clothes at all, and it is not good because if you're doing it in a live theater performance, the chocolate attracts fruit flies and regular flies and all kinds of other stuff because it's chocolate. So you have to, so you really shouldn't do that. You should use corn syrup and really dilute it. You should be adding water to your food coloring, your red food dye, before you add it to anything else. The other problem of using chocolate is it is very hard to make fake blood less black or brown because you added too much chocolate than it is to add more cornstarch or or something, another thickening agent, guargum, to make that a little more thick. And you can also always make it less viscous with no problem. But if you're adding chocolate in, like chocolate syrup, you have to be very careful as you're adding it, because if you go too much, you have to almost double the recipe in order to do that. I got good at making fake blood over the course of having to make a lot of fake blood for a lot of shows. So I got very good at filling those orange like things that you would have high C in at sports games. I got very good at filling several of those full of fake blood, just by necessity. That was some of the most fun I ever had working at UCB, was working on those crews. My fingers would be so red that the cuticles would be stained from making fake blood. It would take days. I could see, like, my hands would be clean, but my cuticles would be stained from the fake blood for days and days, and I would have to I just have to wait. I would literally it would be a waiting game. It's from, yeah, don't worry, it's from fake blood. Well, that's the thing. There's a photo of me where I did like a steampunky cowboy costume for a party, and it's like that's a fun hat, and oh, that's kind of cool. And oh, you put like these little buttons that have like whatever. That's like, oh, that, like clockwork stuff. That's kind of fun. I got a bunch of old clocks pieces. That's kind of neat. And then you just see my hands, and they're like bright red hands because they're just stained. And it was just like, what happened? Oh no. Like, in hindsight, looking at those photos, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, Kilgore. It was a really good time. I had a lot of fun doing it, but it is a thing that I'm like, oh, I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. Those productions took a lot out of me, and I wasn't even an actor in it. Just doing all the work, like doing all of the effect work, was thrilling. But I'm so glad that's not part of my life. It was also just like a very expensive endeavor. So much fun though. Anyway, we are going to start working on the legs here. We're going to start from the bottom up, but we can't do that yet because first and foremost, we have to take a pause for the cause. Yeah, it was a whole lot of work. Huge cruise. I had a lot of fun. I made a lot of my friendships deepened by working on it, but it was so much work. Anyway, this is the pause for the cause. This is a time here where I'm going to chat about ways you can support the channel if you'd like to. Everything I'm about to say here is optional. You don't have to do any of this stuff. Just watching is a lot. If you want to chat, that's great. If you just want to hang out and chill, that's fine. You only want to come in for 20 minutes, you want to come in for the full 2 hours, all of that is great. If you're currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the leg of the site, the moat in the chat. Let the people know that is a way. Being a subscriber is a great way to support what I do here. You can use your Prime Gaming token because you have your Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch, or you can just use Cash Money. Folks, subscribe here. That is means so much to me. I'm so happy that folks do it. You could join Sin by gifting a sub. Bits and coins are always appreciated. You could join that leaderboard if you wanted to do that. Let's see who we got here. We got Dr. Jones and Harold at the top of the Cheers leaderboard, which is very cool. And yeah, bits and coins, gifting subs, becoming a subscriber. You can anonymously gift a sub if you don't want to take credit for it. Becoming a subscriber yourself. Those are ways you can support what I do here. But I have other ways of supporting me because, you know, I like to give people options, right? And, you know, every little bit helps, because some people are like, I would prefer not to. Or I already used my Prime coin for somebody else. Well, if you wanted to, you could join my Patreon. I got a Patreon. There's a $1 tier, a $3 tier, a $5 tier, a $10 tier. So if you want to join that, you're more than welcome to. Again, that's an optional thing. If you're watching this later on YouTube, what's up, YouTuber? You can just check out the description for all the links that I'm sharing you right now. But yeah, I have a Patreon. You could join that. Again, you don't have to. It is just another way to support what I do here. Also, one-time donations, because everything I make through Twitch, through Patreon, and through direct donations goes to buying model kits. The PlayStation model kit that I just purchased that will arrive here Sunday or tomorrow or Monday, and I'll be building soon, probably soon. That money that I use for that came from the money that I get through Twitch and Patreon and direct donations. That's how I buy kits, because once I'm done with a kit, I'm done with the kit, and so I got to buy something new. So it's an ongoing process. So I appreciate folks' support there. I should also say that I do have an Amazon wish list, and if you buy something from my wish list, not only does it come directly to me, you don't have to find out my shipping address or anything like that, but if you send something there, if you buy something on my Amazon wish list and I get it, it jumps the queue. I have some stuff. I've got a clear color Gundam, the 7-8 high grade clear. I'd like to build that soon. As I said, I've got this PlayStation coming. I've got a few kits. I think I got like 4 kits, and I got a couple more things coming in the mail. I would like to build those, but forget it. I won't build those because you might have sent me a Lego set, or you might buy that. Oh, I'm sorry. I bought the Saturn. I should clarify. I was mistaken. I bought the Saturn because it was like $1 cheaper. The PlayStation's still there. If you want me to build a PlayStation, I'll build that. I got the Sega Saturn is the thing that I bought using money. But yeah, there's some high grades, there's some real grades, there's some master grades here. And yeah, if you buy something from that, it comes to me, it jumps the queue, and I build it ahead of time. The other thing you can do is, if you're interested, is get me a gift card to USA Gundam Store if you don't want to go through Amazon, and I appreciate that and understand that. USA Gundam Store, you buy a gift card, then you send me a DM on Twitter, because my DMs are open, and I'm like, hey, here you go, here's a gift card. I use that, the cup noodle, the 1-to-1 scale cup noodle that I will be building at some point, and the Gohan action figure model kit, the Teen Ultimate Gohan. I will be building those. Those are coming. Those both were pre-orders that I put in through USA Gundam Store because folks sent me some money. So that is the thing you could do if you'd like. We'll get back to building in just a moment or two. I just want to quickly talk about a few other things. I have a Discord. Here is the link to my Discord. I post build photos after every stream. People post things they work on. All the videos I make on YouTube, I also post to the Discord when those go live. Speaking of which, I've got 2 videos to talk about here. I've got Pat Baer's Anime Club. I did a video specifically about Halloween. So it's Halloween-themed shows you can watch that are not horror anime. So these are not spooky. Now, do 2 of them involve a lot of action? Yes, but they're like, oh, there are monsters in this world, or there are vampires in this world, and it's an action show, but I wouldn't call it a horror anime. So it's... And then 2 of them are pretty light. One in particular is very light-hearted and fun. It's just like stuff you can get into the spirit without feeling like you have to be terrified and have nightmares. Because I think that's nice to have both those things. And then I ranked penguins on Baering the List, which is an ongoing series I do where I rank things. I saw in an email the Cup Noodle is coming in next week at USA Gundam Store. Oh, great. Ian over at Loading Ready Run got it earlier than I will because he got it directly from Japan because it's on sale in Japan, and his brother lives there, and his brother just sent it to him, which was like, well, that's what you get for having a brother in Japan. Anyway, Baering the List, I ranked penguins. There's a lot of different kinds of species of penguins, some of which I've never seen before, and I ranked them because I rank things every week. I'm going to tell you right now, folks, I got challenged. I suggested that a topic for next week, and I'll tell you because I haven't shot it yet. Well, I shot next week's. The week after, because I usually shoot one in advance. So an upcoming one that I'm trying to figure out how to do is JoJo English name changes. So there's a lot of changes between JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and the Japanese version and the English dub and the English subtitle. So I had to make a lot of caveats with this list. So I'm only doing parts 1 through 4, and I'm only doing specific music references that were changed for copyright reasons. So I'm not including, like, they spell Cars with a K, even though it is a reference to the band Cars. They just put a K on there, so I'm not including that. So just doing stuff like, Vanilla Ice becoming Cool Ice, that kind of thing. Just doing that, there are 25 of them between parts 1 through 4. So this is going to be, in 2 weeks' time, that Baer the List will be epic nonsense. It is just going to be so many things to rank. I'm going to rank all 25. If I think, where I think changing Oingo and Boingo to Zenyatta and Modata, why would they make that change? Why would they change the name of a band to the name of an album, a specific album, by a different band? I don't know, but they did. And then being like, Wilson Phillips. They just called him Senator Phillips. That's a cop-out. Change his name. Because he's probably Senator Wilson Phillips. You took the easy way out. So I'm going to have to rank that. And that's, like I said, I didn't include, they didn't change Iggy's name. So I'm not changing Iggy. I'll tell you right now, I don't know if it's S rank, but it's top tier. They changed Steely Dan to Dan of Steel, and that's just fucking incredible. Like, that might be S tier. I don't know I won't know until I start doing the list, but Dan of Steel is fucking really good. It's really, really good. So that's probably going to be high on the list. And I also might have missed a couple. I don't know. But, why did they change Echoes to Reverb? I don't know why they changed. Echoes is a great name, and I'm sure most people don't know that Echoes is a very long song by Pink Floyd that's very long and go through dramatic changes over the course of it, which makes sense for a very rare stand that evolves and has different phases. So it's a good name. It's also Echoes, and Reverb isn't as cool. Why did they change that? I don't know. There's a lot. It's a fucking, there's so many of them. I was like, oh no, I shouldn't have said this, that sounded cool. Anyway, let's get back to building. It's time to get back to building and to talk about anime. We got to talk about anime that I watched the last couple days since the last stream on Thursday, because that is what we do here. Talk about the anime, and we'll get back to building. Let me just go to that now so I don't forget. We're going to start working on the feet here. And I'm going to talk to you. Again, these are brief overviews. I will get into details that interest me, but it's not like I'm going to talk about every little thing that happened in every episode. I used to do really detailed notes. I do less incredibly detailed notes these days. I will also say, no jujitsu. No, Christian, I have not picked up that show yet. I kind of bounced off the first episode. I will watch it. I'm not currently watching it. I also did not watch the second episode because I had some stuff going on the last 2 days. Because I still watched a lot of shows, but I had some stuff going on the last 2 days. So I did not watch a show that I am hopefully going to keep watching. I don't know. I did not watch episode 2 of The Day I Became a God. I liked the first episode fine enough. I did not watch the second episode, which came out today, but I am going to check it out and see if that's something I want to keep watching. But here's what I did watch, because look, there are 10 shows that come out on Friday and 6 that come out on Saturday. I can only watch so many shows. I just didn't get to all of them. But yes, no, Christian, you are not the only person that is telling me that is a show to check out, and people are really digging it. I know that it's heavily inspired by Bleach, but I just wasn't feeling that dude at first, and I think I'll come to like him, and especially his internal struggles, way more. But I was just like, I just don't need this not Ichigo guy in my life at the moment. But I do want to check it out. Okay, so let's talk about a isekai. I'm sure some people are watching. I don't know who's watching. I'm Standing on a Million Lives. The big thing about this show is they do this thing there's a thing that's happening right now is the main character fucking sucks. And it's a little Subaru Kazuya kind of shittiness. Other main characters in Okay. Well, I take your word for it, Christian. I am gonna check it out. So anyway, there's this guy. His name is Yusuke with 2 U's. Yusuke. Sounds like you're sort of Yusuke. Anyway, Yusuke is a loner, and I would say kind of a shithead. He is a product of his own like angst. I think he's an isolationist. And that is a lot of his problems are self-inflicted and self-made. And my favorite part of this show so far is, okay, so there's the real world, and then there's this video game-like world that you get summoned to. And they've been summoned to this. And he's kind of a natural. It's the thing he's been probably best at ever in his life. Because he's like figuring things out, and he's identifying stuff, and he's like getting positive solutions and like trying very hard in a way. But he's realizing I'm doing all this to survive because they need to survive, but also eventually I guess I have to save. We're gonna save Tokyo because in the Game Master's future they fail to do it. So now I think the Game Master is like training them up so that they can be powerful enough to do this thing in the future, or it always happens, like, and then eventually they'll do this. I don't know. I'm making a lot of assumptions based on very little information, but what I can tell you is, every episode so far has had a moment where Yusuke has a self-realization moment where he's like, "Oh wait, is this on me?" And then the other episode is like, well, she's trying so hard. What have I been doing? And then in this episode, it was the almost realization, wait, am I a loser? Do I suck at? Like, am I a shitty, like, I think I'm this, like, detached loner that knows the world, the ways of the world better. But am I just, like, an unpopular weirdo? And every single time he has this moment, he has it. And in this week's episode, he went, well, I'll wait like 2 weeks to figure this out. He has the same last name as somebody, and he wonders if one of the people he's on this quest with has a crush on him because she says that she likes the last name, and he's like, well, it's a 50-50 chance she likes me, but she won't like me if I'm a loser. So I'll just wait it out. So he's like has this moment like where he's like, oh, it's time to grow and change, but every single time he's like, wait, no, that's okay, whatever. And I love that, and I hope it happens every single episode. I hope every episode there's this come to Jesus moment where he almost does and then definitely doesn't. Because my prediction is he's the game master who is the only survivor and of this thing in the future, and he set this up to basically make himself, even though he wasn't the first one chosen to be in it, he is setting up this band of heroes to save the world. That he didn't do. So my guess is he's the game master. I have no proof of that. That's just based on watching lots of anime and isekai. There's also a new character, Yuka. Their meet cute is terrible. It's a weird moment. There's a whole lot of stuff I don't want to get into about like if your friends are you really your friends, and living the IRL streamer lifestyle and all kinds of stuff that is weird. But the thing I will say is she's an otaku, and she gets the class Heat Wizard, and she grew up loving Magical Girl anime, and there are a lot of references to a fake Magical Girl anime show, and I think that's adorable because it basically is like she's just like amped for it and like psyched, and of course she has level 1 abilities and it doesn't work, but I think that's very cool. And let's see, I think that's it. Oh, then it ends with some of them have leveled up, and EU is asking Yusuke for help. There's also a real bad, a dark flashback. That wasn't a bad scene. It was a dark flashback about you, the popular girl who's like a model who has it all. Well, she has like a sad background, and like an uncaring father, and like she has to be pretty and has to whatever. It's the whole thing. So I think that's the character they've invested a lot, because there's like the girl who doesn't want to be a warrior and is scared and in real life is sick. The warrior character, like she's gonna have her moments, but I don't think she's gonna do a lot in the show. Like her like figuring out how to be stronger is probably her story, but she's not the hot one. So this is definitely like the hot one story. It feels like that is the thing, the story they're really trying to throw in there, the love interest. So I feel like we'll get more character development for her in this next batch of episodes. I'm liking it. Also, the opening song is different. They added some stuff to it, including 2 characters, one which we saw in this episode, and then the other character, because every time they finish a quest, they get one other character, a new person from the real world joins their crew. So I don't know when we're going to get to a new character, but that's coming. But that she is now in the opening. So that's kind of neat. Rail Romanesque. Rail Romanesque is a short series based on a video game, which is just a visual novel video game. Basically, there are android girls that were created to run to basically be like the heart of and run the train industry in a fictional Japan, like a fake Japan. But now in the modern times, trains aren't as popular as they were. So now they're having a big summit with all the rail lords, which is the name of these girls, are meeting together to talk about ways to further advertise the rail companies that each of them is a part of, because each one is a part of their own rail company. And so now currently they are breaking off into groups to pitch merchandise ideas, and we met the first one here, which was the first idea ended up being charms, like good luck charms, like temple charms, because one of them is on a temple rail line, and so they're gonna come up with custom charms because that sounds like a thing that people would be into. And then also there's a lot of bug talk because one of them's really into bugs, and I don't know what the fuck is happening there. And then the other part of the episode, because these are 3.5-minute episodes, the other part of the episode is the 2 of the girls, the other rail lords, are hanging out and learning about each other. Basically, they're like, well, when you're not doing the brainstorming thing, you should be spending time together so you can, get to learn more about each other. And let me just tell you that there are, in this show, Yuri vibes. I bet you are shocked that this show would have Yuri vibes in it, that is a show about young lady trains hanging out with one another. But yes, there are Yuri vibes. I still don't know what the fuck's going on with this show. It's cute and short. If it was like 12 minutes, I don't know if I would still be watching it. But right now, I'm like, yeah, all right. I don't know. Sure, this is fine. It's fine and it's fun enough. And then we come to one of my favorite shows of the season with a dog and a cat. Every day is fun. This episode, usually these are 90-second episodes, so very little to nothing happens in them. It's usually like, here's an idea, here's the payoff, here's an idea, here's the payoff, and it's like 2 jokes. This episode, one long little thing, one little story. Long, I mean 90 seconds. The main character, who we don't know her name, she is taking her cat to the vet, and he is unhappy with the prospect. But the taxi driver had a cat for 23 years who passed away, and it's just a sweet thing of him talking about the cat. And it's just an incredibly sweet little time, and there's a little shot of the cat, like the ghost of the cat, like he said, like, oh, I can't ever get another cat because he'd be jealous. And it's just fucking lovely. It was just a lovely little episode. It's such a cute series. I highly recommend it. It's on Crunchyroll. It's called With a Dog and a Cat, Every Day is Fun. This one made me tear up a little bit because it was just really sweet. And as someone who has been both a cat and dog owner, I think it was just like, I don't know, it's a real nice series. I really think it's charming and fun. A show that is charming, but this episode was not fun, is Wandering Witch, The Journey of Elaina. Now, I know you're reading that, and you read the name, and you're like, Elaina. And you're like, it's E-L-A-I-N-A. She's called Elaina, like E-L-E-N-A. I don't know. That's how they pronounce it, so I always say Elaina. But, hey, it's Elaina. She's a witch. She's traveling the world, checking stuff out. Now, previously, I described this show as Kino's Journey if it wasn't so fucking sad. If it was like a light version of Kino's Journey. I now have to amend that. It is no longer a light version of Kino's Journey. It is Kino's Journey with more magic. If more magic, besides a talking motorcycle, if you were like, I wish this show had more than just a talking motorcycle, well, now you can check out fucking Wandering Witch, because holy shit, this goddamn episode. I thought this was going to be pretty light. This show is not light anymore. It was 2 stories in this episode. The first one was Elaina meets a redhead woman in a field of flowers. And the redhead woman asks her to bring some flowers to a nearby country because she wants people to be able to see how beautiful the flowers are. Which doesn't seem too weird. It is a little odd that it's a beautiful field of flowers, but there's not a lot happening there besides the field. So it's a little weird, but not super weird. Anyway, it turns out that the flowers make people who don't have ability to use magic go insane, and they make you head to the field, and then the field absorbs all of your body for nutrients, and then the cycle continues. So she didn't want to tell people how beautiful it was. She wanted other people to smell the flowers and then have to go there. Anyway, Elaina gets interrogated a bit by a guy who's searching for his sister. He's redheaded too. Guess who his sister is? And he goes to find her, and he shares her fate. And the episode ends with a bunch of plant monsters walking towards this city or country. And that's the end of the first half of the episode. That's the end of that story. There is no happy ending. She does not do anything and help anyone at all. That's not her deal. She's not here to fix shit. She's not here to burn all the plants. Sucks for them. And then the second half of the episode, she meets a young man who is gathering happiness. He has this jar. He can use magic, and he has this jar. He can collect happiness in it. And he wants to give it to someone that works for him, a servant at his house, because she always seems sad. So he's like, well, I don't know how to make her happy, but I can collect happiness from other things, and maybe she'll appreciate that. And it's called out in there, and it's very similar to a story of there's a kind of classic fable about a woman who is very sick, and her husband travels the world and then recreates through art all of these impressive, wonderful things that she can't get to because she's sick. And so he experiences them for her and then shares it, so that way she can share in these experiences. So this girl is named Nino, and oh, this is fun. She was kidnapped and sold as a slave to the house. So she is a servant slave, and that's fun. Of course, she's not happy. She's very unhappy because her life is awful. And the episode ends with he shows her these visions of this happiness it collected, and then Elaina wonders if it just made Nino sadder, because in the fable that she references, the wife kills herself because she realizes she'll never experience any of these happy moments that her husband went and recorded for her. So maybe this girl didn't need to know that the world is full of all these cool things, and it actually made things worse. And it ends with Elaina saying she doesn't know what happened to Nino, and she doesn't want to know what happened to Nino. And that's the fucking end of this episode. The second episode ended, it was much more encouraging. It was, it was much more light. This is not a light show. So this is Kino's journey to the West with a lot of sadness just added into it. The same thing, but more magic. Like, there's a moment where it looks like Elaina is like gonna do something, but she doesn't do anything. And I think that's not like a knock on her. I think that's just what's happening in this world. That's just the thing that she's gonna have to do. Working on the right leg here, so we'll just take one of each of the things we built and build on the right leg. Anyway, that's some dark shit. This show is fucking really good so far. I'm really digging it, but it is immediately very dark, and just be prepared. I think it's one of the best shows this season, but holy shit. You gotta be around. This is not By the Grace of the Gods, which is the slice of life of the season so far, because it's a slice of life isekai, so it's two of my favorite genres together. I feel like that is the slice of life of the season, and probably the isekai of the season. There's not that many isekai. Kuma Baer could end up being the isekai / slice of life of the season, but I don't know yet. We're only 2 episodes in. I can't make the call yet. Oh, and then we got to go and ban this person. Go ahead and do that. I'm getting more of those. I'm getting one of those almost every stream. We're getting one of these folks. That's a shame. A lot of no. We just want to get more followers. Hey, go to this thing. If you want big followers, go and do this. It's like, no, I'm good. I don't need to pay a lot of money for accounts that you have hacked. Yeah, I'm good. I don't need that. Anyway, I'm going to talk to you about the last show of the couple days that I've watched here. The last one I want to talk to you about, which is Iwakakeru, sport climbing girls. And I've said this, and I want to be very clear. This is a sports anime that features ladies. It is not a slice of life. This is not the This is a sports anime. This is not the uh, anime for girls who are really into a thing, being into that thing anime. It's true that that's what it is, but this is definitely more of a sports thing. There are cute moments in it, but it is not that. It is not the opening act anime, which is much more like here's girls who are cute and into a thing. That's going to be that show. That show is definitely the slice of life about girls who are super into a thing. Um, this show is, yeah, it's a competitive sports anime thing. It's episode 3. They've got 2 months before their next competition, and Konomi has the brains. She's got the brains to be a proper climber because she's got a mind. She honed her mind in puzzle games and video games, and she's now trying to apply that. So she can really like read a line. She just doesn't have the body strength of the train to do that. So she's going through conditioning, a lot of conditioning. She gets called chubby, and it really messes with her head. And then they're going to go on this. They're going to go rock climbing, like actual rock climbing. A term that I really thought that she's a former pro gamer. She's a retired pro gamer. She almost didn't get through her exams to get into the high school. This high school, so she has given up the life of a pro gamer, and so that she could focus on her studies, and then apparently isn't doing that and is now getting into the world of wall climbing. But they're going to a real rock climbing. So I'm going to say the name of this term, and then I'm probably going to stop saying it because it's a weird term. I wonder if this show gets dubbed if they change the name of it. But apparently, it's a term in this anime that if you are climbing difficult rocks, a difficult rock wall, like a real wall of rocks, that is called the anti-monkey rock because not even monkeys can climb it. Apparently, that is a term, and that is used about the thing they're going to face. Anyway, Konomi gets there early, and she strikes up a conversation with a quiet dead-ere girl, a young girl. She's playing a phone game, and she opens up to Konomi because Konomi soundly defeats her because she was a pro. She's very good at the game. And then it turns out that girl, and her name is Kiku, is the daughter of one of the best, like, free climbing people in Japan. So it's a dude, like, wild-looking dude. And Kiku is very good at climbing. She was doing it her whole life. She's still in junior high. And it's basically the whole episode is them, like, is getting over the fear. Apparently, when you're climbing a indoor rock wall or a man-made rock wall, you have like protective gear and you can kind of like feel safe. You don't get that if you're free climbing like a rock face. So she ends up being very scared, and it's a thing of like, yeah, we expected that too. That's part of it. You should be scared. You're mentally there. You got to mentally get over that hurdle, and then if you can do that. And we can condition you, then we'll go for it. There's also a little thing with, like, June, the girl who doesn't have any friends because she's too serious about everything, including this. But Konomi wants to be friends with her. So, yeah, I would say if you are a sports anime fan, I mean, you're already watching Haikyuu. So, keep watching Haikyuu, the new season, because it's very, very good. That's my free watch where I'm not talking about it week to week. I have not watched this week's episode. I will watch it probably tonight in my cool down after streaming. But I would say watch that. And then this is another, I think, pretty good. I have not watched the Gymnastic Samurai because the name sounds terrible. But I have heard that it looks pretty neat. The animation is good. I've heard good things. I just have not checked it out. And that's the other anime that is sports focused. But I have not, as I said, I have not checked that out yet. There's too many shows. Too many good shows. But I am going to try to watch the second episode for Monday and talk about it on Monday. I will try to talk about the day I became a god, because I do want to. I don't know if I'm going to keep watching that show, but I do want to give it more than one episode because I did like the first episode, so I do want to keep watching it. I've already read all of Haikyuu, but I'm kind of wondering if I want to watch it too. I mean, I think it just obviously like not every manga translates well. I haven't read the manga. I can't comment on the manga. I can only tell you that it is such a lovely story, and I think like it is the animation styles, the zoning in, the like where it gets dark and you only see like a like a focused scope kind of thing, and the speed of some of it I think is great. Uh, this is a show that I slept on for a very long time. Because I've convinced myself like we do everything like, well, I know I don't like this kind of story because I've never been into basketball anime, and I've never been into baseball anime. I've watched tried. I liked one baseball anime. I like the one outs. I think is like a fucking cool thing because it's about a dirtbag excellent pitcher who ends up like ending up on a team like a professional team where the owner doesn't care if he wins or loses, but he's going to lose a lot of money if they win because of this deal. And so he's like, I think that story is fucking awesome. But I would say like, oh, I don't like sports anime. Haikyuu is fucking great. So I don't know, Lashbrook. I do think it's worth watching. At least checking out a couple episodes, see if you like the vibe of it. Because I say, if you watch that show, it will only take a few episodes to where you're just walking around and then you see like a leaf fall out of a tree and then you just start screaming, "Chance ball!" Going for it. I think that's like, I think those moments of hearing the other players react to things. There's a pretty late in the show reaction to one of the quicks where the quick comes out of nowhere and another guy just goes, he like whips his head to where the ball is going and just goes, "Huh?" And it's just, I love that so much. I watched that clip so many times. I just think it's such a fucking great moment. He's just like, what just happened? I don't know. I think it's a great show. Let me know, folks. What are you watching this season? There's so much show, especially if it's something that I haven't been talking about on stream. Yashahime. I still have not watched any of Yashahime. I really want to. I was talking about, I had a tweet about all of the Yuri, or the either, this is a gay show, or this show is pretty dang gay right now. I kind of did a tweet listing all of those. I want to see if I can find it. But I didn't even, like, I haven't even watched Yashahime, so I have no idea if that also is a show that is going just as Yuri. But I've been watching, let me see here. Okay, yeah. So shows I'm watching with heavy Yuri vibes or is a legit gay show. Because, like, Adachi and Shimamura. I cannot say that name quite right. I'm going to give that. Has incredibly, it's just a Yuri show. It's a romantic show between two girls. Real Romanesque, lots of Yuri vibes. Wandering Witch, second episode, a whole lot of Yuri vibes in that episode. And the first episode had kind of very light Yuri that might have been just appreciation, but could also have been feelings. Sports Climbing Girls, some definite Yuri vibes going on there, especially the closing animation song. And then shows that don't have any, but I am expecting it. My Setsu opening act and Kuma 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 Baer. There's a character we haven't met yet in Kuma 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 Baer, and like the vibes I'm getting is just like, oh, this is good. This is just gonna be a bunch of ladies really love this bear girl, this girl with her bear costume. So I'm getting the impression that might be there. I don't know, But yeah, and like I said, I haven't even started watching Yashihime, so I have no idea. But yeah, if there's anything y'all are watching that I'm not, especially like folks that are here for every stream, if there's or a lot of streams, if there's any shows, like I know Jujutsu Kaisen, I am not watching it. That is a thing that I need to check out. I kind of want to watch King's Raid. I think I talked about this on. Did I talk about this on the stream? King's Raid is based on a popular South Korean mobile game, a mobile RPG. So it's a mobile RPG from South Korea. But the show got a 26 episode order, so it's a double course, order of 26. So it's 213 episode run, which is a lot. But it's not even the story of the RPG. It's a different story in the universe. And it's just like, what? It looked so generic that I haven't watched it. The other one that looked very generic, I can't even remember that. It's Romeo and Juliet, but one of them is a wizard or a witch. Like, I haven't watched that yet. I forget the name of it, but it just looks really selling it. I know, right? That's the thing. Like, look, to me, it's just like, oh, that just looks like a basic RPG. Nothing surprising with that. But someone must think it's great if it's going to do 26 episodes. If they're going to give it 26 episodes for original story based on a mobile game, like somebody must believe in it. So what am I wrong about? I have heard nobody I know. That doesn't mean it's not popular or people aren't enjoying it, but nobody I know in my bubble of anime watchers is watching Hypnosis Mike. And that makes me think that it might be okay, because if it was cringe, if it was terrible, Hypnosis Mike is an anime about a world where weapons have been banned. There's no weapons. But fights break out and are solved by MCs who have mics that can make people like believe in them, hypnosis mics. And there was this one crew that was apparently like the best crew, and they all broke up. So all the main characters of the show were from this crew, and now they're fighting each other. Yeah, and so I think it's just like, what if ciphers and rap battles were for like territory instead of just like, respect or street cred. And like I said, I have not heard anything bad about it yet, which really surprised me because it seemed bad. So I'm like, is this not bad? Is it good or okay? Because, like, I'm really not watching much, just Iwakakeru and Jujutsu Kaisen. I haven't felt like picking up anything else. Okay, well, Lashbrook, you might want to check out Kuma 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 Baer. Now, the first episode is just another boofery show. It's an overpowered girl in a VR MMO. But then in the second episode, it's an isekai. And apparently, at least some of the episodes, episode 2 takes place before episode 1. And that's a weird choice. But you might like that because the first episode is just a pretty chill and cute VR MMO with an overpowered main character. So that might, Lashbrook, you might like it. Especially if you liked boofery. That one looks good. I've heard that the Dragon Quest is pretty generic, but not bad. I just haven't engaged with it yet. But I've heard some, mixed thoughts on it. And I dropped Tonikawa Over the Moon for You because I'm just not here for a relationship romantic comedy. It's just not something that I'm like looking for at the moment. It could be great. It's just not something that I'm like, this is what I want to be watching right now. Maybe I'll go back to it. I don't know, but I dropped it for now. Because I think there are other shows that are going to have some romance elements that I'm kind of more into right now. But who knows? Who knows? All right. And there. All right, so we're going to finish up the legs here and the waist. We still have weapons to do, which will probably be next stream, but we'll get more of this done here. And then keep going. Okay. Have you seen Welcome to the Ballroom? I didn't love Welcome to the Ballroom. I watched some of it, but I never finished it. It just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't do anything for me. I know people that really love it, and I bounced off of it pretty fast, and it didn't hook me. I wish it had, because it did seem neat. But yeah. I don't watch I guess I don't watch a lot of competitive shows like that. It's not really my vibe. I do watch a lot of action. Of course, you don't watch a lot of isekai. And I watch, a lot of slice of life stuff. I think that is a bit more my speed. I was saying I was saying to a friend. I didn't say this on stream, so I will say it now so that I can make the comment. I think it's the sport climbing girls is interesting because it is neither it is both and neither I'm actually magically good at this. This is a thing I didn't know about, and I'm a natural. It is that, and also it's not that, and it's also not. I have no idea what this is, and I have to work really hard to get good at it. It's both and neither, because she's visually, mentally, a prodigy because she's using her skills that she's learned from puzzle solving to I can do this, but she's not physically strong enough to be as good as she is. She can't live up to her. She's got to train to get good enough. So she's not she's already a prodigy, but she would have been a prodigy as a child if she had been training all her life to climb. She wouldn't have been a prodigy because she would have had to learn those puzzle skills, but she would have gotten there eventually. And that is a way different vibe than a different. It's very different from Haikyuu, where you're watching. We see him be great, but we know that all these characters they have talent, but they've worked very hard to get that talent. They're working. They're always constantly working. They're always constantly improving. They're figuring out how to do it. Or sorry, I forget. Yomusha Pedal, right? Our main character is accidentally becomes incredibly good at biking through circumstance, or it's not a sports anime, but Initial D, right? The main character, Initial D, is been trained by his dad and didn't realize he is good at racing. That he has been trained to be a downhill specialist by his dad, kind of in secret. He did not know that was the training that he was going through, right? It just happens. So so this show is kind of in between. And I really think that's a cool idea. That it's oh, well, what happens when your body needs to catch up to your brain? And she's half great at it and half clearly a beginner. I don't know. I think that's a very unique thing for an anime, at least for what I've seen in the world of stuff I've seen. It is a unique idea. Konami is not just a natural. She is a natural, but she's also needs the practical. It doesn't matter that she is a natural yet, because she can't back it up. Which I think that's kind of cool. All right, let me get these legs on here, right? Maybe this is just wobbly. Is this just wobbly? I would hate to say that this is just wobbly. So we are going to wrap up in a couple of minutes on Monday. We will start with our pumpkin carving, and then if there's time at the end of the stream, we will work on the weapons and shield of this kit. But we will focus on doing the pumpkin carving stream before that. Let me just get this leg on, and then I'll get the arm on. This might just be a really loose leg. Oh, that sucks. I might have to put some putty on here. Yeah, this might just be loose. Oh, no, that's better. Okay. But yeah, so we're going to start with the pumpkin carving on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I am going to go ahead and raid. You'll feel free to come along on the raid if you'd like. We will go and find someone cool to go raid tonight and check out and see what they're up to in their world. And then on Monday, I will be back doing my pumpkin carving stream at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Again, let's go ahead and find someone cool to go on a raid. Thank you so much for being here tonight. If you'd like to come on the raid, I'd love to have you. If not, that's okay. But it always is my pleasure to have folks hanging out. Let's see. I wonder how long Kate is playing. I'm gonna see what's Kate's doing on. There's a new map in PUBG. And Kate Stark is there, so we're going to go raid Kate because we haven't raided Kate in a while, and Kate rules, so feel free to come along on the raid. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I'm going to go ahead and raid Kate. Again, back on Monday, we are going to do a pumpkin carving stream, and then I will finish up this kit depending on time. But we are going to pause this. We're body complete, but we're not done with the kit yet. So let's go on this raid. Feel free to come along. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. I hope your Sunday is fantastic. And Monday, come hang out for pumpkin carving. It's going to be fun. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next Build with Baer. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.